So here is a new paper model. Like I said, it's something different. It's the Surcouf. I think that's kind of how you say it. It even comes with a cool little airplane with it. It had two huge guns on it. It's a really big submarine. It's a 1/200 scale. Um, I believe it was made in the 20s, and then it was actually sunk accidentally sometime during World War II. I started it because I was busy doing some other things. So it was hard to show you from the very beginning. But there's a little airplane, and you can see I started cutting off parts because I'm starting to put the hull together. But it's very precise, looks really nice. Here's all the interior parts, and they came. I bought the little laser parts because that saves a lot of time on ships because there's so many things to put together in the hull. And there didn't show how I put it together, but it's just a bunch of pieces that go together like little Legos. They just slide together and they works really well. Here's the main directions showing you all the little pieces. You can see it's a mean looking sub. It's cool looking. I wish it was 1/100th scale because it would go with my M1 I have. But anyway, you can see it's got that part's the conning tower, I guess, and then it's got there's where the guns are. That's going to be cool. That's where the little airplane goes. So that's a little hangar that you can have open. It's got guns on the top. It's got antennas. There's the little airplane. It's got a winch back there. This is going to be really, 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 really cool when it's done. So it's fun. And this is again trying to build tanks and cars and jets and things other than what I usually make. So here I've started it, and all I've done is put those pieces together. That's just deck pieces. They fit beautifully on top. You can see all these little formers and pieces just fit together. It's very intuitive how it glues together. And then you can see I've started to do the rear and paper. And if you're looking at that and saying, oh, there's the name, Surcouf, that's cool back there. If you're looking at that and you're going, that's pretty lame. Look at that huge divot. And look at how things kind of look, I mean, they don't look bad, but they're not up to my usual amazing standard. I've often wondered how people make ships. They usually put strips over the formers because it's hard. You can't get things to actually have a place to glue. And I've always wondered why people do that. Or they fill the area between formers with foam. And now I know. So what I've done is I've cut thicker strips of paper just left over from the stock in the kit, and I've put them over the formers and glued them. So now there's lips on either side. Then I think that makes things better. So I put that bottom piece in, and then it has two pieces, one there and one on the other side, and I'll show you how you put in one of those in a second here. But anyway, that's how I'm proceeding, and I think I cracked the code. I think it'll look better with those strips. Oh yeah, it also came with a cute little stand that I'm just using initially as a place to set it. So, it's neato. So here are two pieces that are going either side. The colors are going to be cool, this greenish color and then this rusty color on the bottom. I have yet to find a color on my paper bottles that I haven't been able to color with these little water-soluble markers or close enough. So that's all I'm doing here. On each piece I make sure I color the underside, again, just to get rid of the white, just like everyone always does. And then I found some green and do the same thing on all the green parts. I'm just showing you because that's something you really got to do to make it look good. Now you got these two flat pieces, and I've drawn arrows as what's forward, so that's important because you can get confused. Again, this isn't an airplane. I can put an airplane together in my sleep. So it's a flat piece of paper, and you want to put it over this really wild-looking former. And what I do is I line up the color difference there. See the reddish brown and the green, and then I kind of gently push it down and kind of force it into the former shape. And because I got those lips of paper on there, there's a place for things to stick. And if you sort of put that down, and then you make sure it's touching it's level there with my middle finger, it's level with the deck, and you kind of push it in place with your index finger and slide back and forth, you basically end up making a mold. And you got this piece of paper that will actually fit really well. And it's pretty amazing. Now, I also, in some cases, I have to color the paper just to make sure I don't have any white showing through on my new little step pieces there that give me some space, some place to glue. Because again, in the back, I didn't have these, and I ran into some trouble pretty quickly. And The other submarine I put together years ago, we didn't have this problem. So I don't know if it's me. I don't know if it's the model, or I don't know if they assume that when you build these things, you put strips on them. I have seen paper model ships where like someone's putting together a hood or an Arizona or something, and they put strips on there, but the model came with a bunch of red strips. I mean, the same color as the base, and you're supposed to put them on over the formers. And now I see why. I never understood, but now I get it. So anyway, this piece I'm lining up again, that color right there, making sure that's my index. And then I slide this in and just test fitting it one more time. You do this a few times and the paper will mold. I'm using my thumb to push it down into that curve in there. And you got to make sure it's tight in there because you want to make it have that contour. Without that contour, it'll look really goofy. So you just make sure it's right. Now I change the lenses so I can be a little closer. And hopefully this comes through okay. So I go ahead and I put my glue on here as usual, ham-handedly, but I don't care because I'm gonna take extra off, and I'm gonna kind of tap it in place with my little tool to put it in so that it's nice. But I'm putting glue where there's going to be paper. And then I forgot the middle part. I think I remember later. I want to put glue on that middle piece too. But here I kind of smooth it out so not too much on there. But this can also be used almost as filler a little bit because it does kind of get rid of some of the light that shows through in pieces. And so that gives you a little extra, it makes it look that much better. And then I'm taking the excess glue and sticking it on that piece. But you'll see here in a second when I put this on, it fits like a charm. I mean, the model's new-ish. You know, it's not from the 80s or the 90s. You know, it's from the 2000s at least, if not newer. It might be, I mean, well, 2000, that's where we are. There I am lining up that demarcation, and then I stick my finger in there and push it in, and I'm making sure it's against the deck, top deck. And I'm just making sure it's all nice and straight, and making sure I'm using some pressure to get it to glue onto those pieces. What I'm finding is that the line there on my thumb between the upper hull and the lower hull, right there, that top piece seems to go sort of overlap. But I'm trying to point out here, you can't tell, but the lines are beautiful. The lines line up gorgeously in this. They really, whoever, again, how it's designed, it's really pretty nice. And I'm just making sure that it is well, sticking in good order, and it's the right contour. Again, a Polish or Czech modeler would probably have this thing completely shaped so that you just put it in like a piece of plastic. I do use a little rounded piece, in this case, the back of a brush, and kind of carefully push and give it some pressure and roll it in there just to make sure that I form it. Because that's the key. You want it to look good. But this thing, dang if it doesn't look nicer now that I have those lips on there, those little former lips that I've added. So I'm hoping that that is the key. And what I'm going to do is just put these all in and show you later when I got most of them done. We'll kind of reconvene towards the front where things get dicey. But it's looking, for a start, looking dang neat.